Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I am so happy you decided to join us today for another English learning session. This is me, Jack, and I hope you are having a wonderful day wherever you are in the world.
Hi guys, this is me, Emma. I am so glad to be here. I have to admit, I am feeling very cozy today. It is raining outside my window, so I made myself a giant cup of hot chocolate. I'm wearing my most comfortable sweater, and I am ready to chat.
That sounds perfect, Emma. That is exactly the vibe we want here. We want everyone listening to feel relaxed, safe, and comfortable. Learning English should not be stressful. It should feel like a chat between friends.
I agree, but sometimes, Jack, it does feel stressful, especially when I try to speak and I mess up. I get so nervous that I will say the wrong thing. Actually, just this morning, I tried to text my friend in English, and I spent 10 minutes worrying about the grammar.
I think that is a feeling many of our listeners understand. We put so much pressure on ourselves to be perfect. And that actually brings us to our topic for today. Today, we are going to discuss 5 common mistakes beginners make in English.
Oh boy, just 5? I feel like I make about 50 mistakes every day. Sometimes I feel like I'm just guessing the words.
That is a very normal feeling, Emma. But the reason we chose these 5 specific mistakes is that they are very common. Almost every beginner makes them. But they are also quite easy to fix once you know them.
That is good news. I like easy fixes because sometimes grammar books are so confusing. They explain things with complicated rules and my brain just shuts down. I just want to know how to sound natural.
Exactly. We are not going to be boring today. We are going to look at why these mistakes happen and how to correct them simply. If you fix these 5 small things, your English will sound much more professional and clear. It's a huge step forward.
I really want that. I want to speak without pausing every 2 seconds to think. It can be so frustrating when you have the idea in your head, but the words come out wrong.
We are going to solve that today. We are going to help you overcome those obstacles. And actually, before we start, I want to say that making mistakes is inevitable.
Wait, hold on a second, Jack. That's a big word. What does inevitable mean?
Ah, good catch. Inevitable means that something is definitely going to happen. You cannot stop it or avoid it. For example, the sun rising tomorrow is inevitable. And making mistakes when you learn a language is also inevitable.
Okay, that makes me feel better. So it's something that happens to everyone? I cannot avoid it?
You cannot avoid it, and you shouldn't try to. It's how we learn. So keep watching until the very end of this video. We are going to give you some great tips. And also, we have a special surprise at the end.
Yes, please stay for the end. We are doing a special vocabulary breakdown. We'll pick the difficult words from our conversation today, like inevitable, and explain them clearly so you can use them too.
It's a great way to review what you learned. So get your coffee or your hot chocolate, like Emma, find a comfortable spot, and let's get started. Are you ready for the first mistake, Emma?
I am ready. I have my notebook open. Tell me, what is the first big mistake?
All right, so the first mistake is a big one. It is something almost everyone does when they start. It is translating directly from your native language into English, word for word.
Oh, I am definitely guilty of this. I do this all the time. In my head, I form the sentence in my own language, and then I just swap the words for English words. Is that bad?
It is not bad, Emma, because it is natural. Your brain is trying to use the map it already has. But the problem is that English has a very specific structure. If you just swap the words, the sentence often sounds strange or funny to a native speaker.
I actually have a funny story about this. A few years ago, I was traveling. I wanted to tell the waiter that I was hot because it was summer and the sun was strong. In my language, we say, I have heat. So I looked at the waiter and said, I have hot.
Oh no, that must have been confusing for him.
He looked at me very strangely. He thought I was offering him something hot, maybe, or that I was sick. I realized later that in English, you use the verb to be. You say, I am hot. I felt so embarrassed. I wanted to hide under the table.
That is a perfect example. You tried to use the grammar from your language, but English works differently. Think of learning a language like cooking a specific dish. You cannot just use the ingredients from a pizza to make a cake. They're both delicious, but the recipe is totally different.
That is a really good way to think about it. So, English is like a cake?
In this metaphor, yes, you have to follow the English recipe. You cannot put the cheese where the sugar should go. So, instead of thinking in your language, try to learn whole phrases in English. Don't learn just the word am, learn the phrase I am hot or I am hungry.
That makes sense. It's like buying a pre-made cake instead of trying to bake it from scratch every time. It saves mental energy. Because honestly, thinking so hard makes me tired. Sometimes I just want to take a nap instead of studying.
And that's okay too. But yes, learning chunks or groups of words helps you avoid that translation mistake. Now, let's talk about the second common mistake. This one confuses so many students. It's the difference between make and do.
Ugh, I hate this one. It drives me crazy, Jack. Why are there two words for the same thing? I never know which one to pick. Yesterday, I said, I need to make my homework, and my friend corrected me. She said, no, Emma, you do your homework.
It is very tricky. In many languages, there is only one word for both actions, but in English, we separate them. Generally, here's a simple rule to help you. We use make when we are creating something new, when we build something or produce something.
Okay, let me think. So if I bake a cake, I am creating it, so I make a cake.
Exactly. You are bringing something new into the world. You make a cake, you make breakfast, you make a cup of coffee. You also make a mistake because you created that error.
I am an expert at making mistakes, so I'm creating them? That is funny. Okay, so what about do?
We usually use do for tasks, jobs, or general activities. You're not creating a physical object, you're just performing an action. So you do the dishes, you do the laundry, you do your homework.
I see. So the homework is the task. I'm not building the homework paper. I'm just completing the work.
Precisely. It takes time to remember all of them, though. There are some exceptions, of course, because English is weird, but if you remember make equals create and do equals action, you'll be right 90% of the time.
I like those odds. 90% is good enough for me. I usually aim for about 50% accuracy before I give up and go watch TV.
You are doing great, Emma. Don't sell yourself short. The fourth mistake is one that I hear constantly, even from intermediate students. It's mixing up he and she, or saying he for everything.
Oh, that's interesting. I thought that was just a basic thing. Like, everyone knows he is for a man and she is for a woman, right?
You would be surprised. In the moment when people are speaking fast, they get flustered. They just grab the first pronoun they can find.
Wait, stop. You used a word there, flustered. What does that mean?
Oh, sorry. Flustered means feeling agitated or confused, usually because you're in a rush or under pressure. Like when the teacher asks you a question and everyone is looking at you and your face gets red. You're flustered.
Oh, I know that feeling very well. I'm permanently flustered. So when people get flustered, they mix up he and she?
Yes, they might be telling a story about their mother and suddenly they say, and then he went to the store. It can be very confusing for the listener. We don't know who you're talking about anymore.
I can see why that happens. Your brain is working so hard to find the verbs and the vocabulary that you forget the small words like he or she. It's like your brain runs out of battery power.
That's exactly it. It's cognitive overload. Your brain is juggling too many balls. To fix this, you just need to slow down. Take a breath. It's better to pause for 1 second and choose the right word than to rush and confuse your listener.
Slowing down is good advice. I like doing things slowly. I'm like a turtle learning English.
Turtles eventually finish the race, Emma. Slow is smooth and smooth is fast. Now, speaking of slowing down, the fourth mistake is about pronunciation. But not just accents. It's about swallowing the ends of words.
Swallowing words? That sounds delicious, but I don't think you mean eating them.
No, not eating them. I mean that beginners often do not pronounce the last sound of a word, especially if it's an S or a T or a D. For example, for the plural cats, they might just say cat, or for the past tense walked, they just say walk.
Oh, I definitely do this. I get lazy. My mouth gets tired of moving so much. English requires a lot of mouth gymnastics.
It does. English has a lot of consonant sounds at the end of words. In some other languages, words almost always end with a vowel, like O or A, so it feels unnatural to stop on a hard sound like T. But if you don't say the end sound, you change the grammar.
Right. If I say, yesterday I walked to the park, it's wrong. It sounds like I'm speaking like a caveman. Me walk park.
Exactly. You lose the time reference. You need that little T sound at the end of walked to show it happened in the past. It's a tiny sound, but it carries a lot of meaning.
It is so unfair that the smallest sounds are the most important. It feels like a secret code I haven't cracked yet.
You are cracking it, don't worry. It just takes practice. You have to exaggerate it at first. When you practice alone, make the N sound really loud and clear. Walked, cats. It will feel silly, but it trains your muscles.
I'll try that in the shower. The shower is the best place to practice because nobody can hear me making strange noises.
The shower is a fantastic classroom. Now, we have one more big mistake to cover, and this one is more about how you feel than the grammar rules. It connects to that feeling of flustered we talked about earlier. So, we have covered translation, grammar, gender, and pronunciation. But the fifth mistake is the most dangerous one. It is not about what you say, it is about when you say it. The fifth mistake is waiting until you are ready to speak.
Oh, that hits me right in the heart, Jack. I feel seen. I always say, I will start speaking when I finish this textbook, or I will speak when I learn 100 more words.
Exactly. We call this the perfectionist trap. It is the belief that you must be perfect before you open your mouth. But the truth is, if you wait until you are perfect, you will be silent forever.
But it is so scary. It feels safer to stay quiet. If I don't speak, I can't make a mistake. If I don't make a mistake, nobody will laugh at me. It's a protection mechanism.
That is a very human reaction. Our brains are wired to protect us from embarrassment. But let's dig into that fear. Emma, can you tell me about a time you were actually afraid to use your English? Not just lazy, but actually scared?
Honestly, yes. I remember it clearly. Last year, I was at a train station in London. I was trying to buy a ticket from a machine, but it was broken. There was a staff member standing right there, just 2 meters away.
Okay, so you needed help. That is a normal situation.
It was, but I froze. My heart started beating so fast. Boom, boom, boom. I started sweating. I thought, if I ask him, I will have to use the past tense or maybe a polite modal verb. And what if I don't understand his answer?
So your brain started overthinking everything immediately.
Yes, I was paralyzed. I stood there for 5 minutes staring at the broken machine. Eventually, I just walked away. I didn't buy the ticket. I took a taxi instead, which cost me £50. I paid £50 just to avoid speaking one sentence. I felt so stupid afterwards.
Emma, thank you for sharing that. That is really vulnerable.
It is embarrassing to admit. I felt like a coward.
You are not a coward. You were overwhelmed.
There's another big word, overwhelmed. What does that mean exactly?
Overwhelmed means you feel like you have too much to deal with. It's like a wave of water crashing over your head. You cannot breathe or think clearly because the feelings are too strong.
Yes, that's exactly how it felt, like a wave of panic.
This happens because of something psychologists call the spotlight effect.
The spotlight effect? Like in a theater?
Yes, imagine you're on a stage. There is a bright light shining only on you. You think everyone in the audience is watching your every move. You think they're looking at your clothes, your hair, and listening to every single grammar mistake.
That's how I feel every time I speak English. I feel like everyone has a notebook and they are writing down my errors to laugh at later.
But here's the secret, Emma. There is no spotlight.
What do you mean?
I mean that other people are not obsessed with you. They're obsessed with themselves. When you speak to that man at the train station, he isn't thinking, oh, Emma used the wrong verb tense. He's thinking, I'm hungry, I want lunch, or my feet hurt. He just wants to understand the message. He doesn't care about the grammar.
Wow, that's actually really miserable, but also really freeing. You mean I'm not the main character in everyone else's life?
Exactly. It sounds a bit harsh, but it's true. People are busy. They're selfish. They just want to communicate. If you say, ticket machine bad, he'll understand. He won't judge you. He'll just help you.
So I spent 50 pounds on a taxi because I thought I was the center of the universe?
In a way, yes, but we all do it. The mistake beginners make is thinking that English is a performance, like a piano recital. If you hit a wrong note, you fail. But English is not a performance. It's a tool. It's like a hammer.
A hammer? Explain that.
If you need to build a shelf, you use a hammer. You don't care if the hammer is beautiful or shiny. You just care if it hits the nail. Language is a tool to transfer an idea from my brain to your brain. If the idea arrives, you succeeded, even if the grammar was messy.
That changes my perspective. I always treated English like an art project that had to be beautiful, but really it's just a tool to get what I want, like a train ticket.
Precisely. And the only way to get comfortable with this tool is to use it when you're bad at it. You have to be willing to sound silly.
I hate looking silly, Jack. It hurts my ego. I'm an adult, I have a job, I pay taxes, but when I speak English, I feel like a child.
That child feeling is the growing pain. You know, children learn languages so fast because they don't have that ego. They don't care if they sound silly, they just want the cookie. They'll point and say, cookie give, and they get the cookie. They win.
So I need to be more like a toddler?
In your mindset, yes, be brave enough to be imperfect, because the alternative is silence, and silence doesn't get you a train ticket, and it doesn't make you friends.
You're right. I missed so many opportunities because of fear. I remember once I was at a party and I wanted to tell a joke to a group of English speakers, but I was afraid I would ruin the punchline, so I just stood there and smiled like a statue. It was so boring.
And I bet if you had told the joke, even badly, they would have appreciated it. People love when you try. They want to connect with you. They're usually very patient.
I suppose you're right. Most people are nice. I'm usually the one who is mean to myself. I'm my worst critic.
We are all our worst critics, so the mistake is listening to that inner critic. You need to tell that critic to be quiet.
I will try. Next time the critic says, don't speak, you'll look stupid, I'll say, quiet, I need a train ticket.
That's the spirit. It's about confidence, but confidence doesn't come from being perfect. Confidence comes from surviving the mistakes. You make a mistake, you survive, and you realize the world didn't end.
That is true. I've made many mistakes, and I'm still alive. The grammar police didn't come to arrest me.
Not yet, anyway. Just kidding. But seriously, this mindset shift is the most important part of learning. Grammar you can learn from a book, but courage you have to build yourself.
I feel a bit more brave now. I feel like I can go out and make some terrible sentences today.
That's my goal for you. Go make terrible sentences, because terrible sentences are better than no sentences.
Okay, I'm pumped up, I'm ready to try. But I know our listeners might have different feelings about this.
You're right. Everyone handles fear differently, and actually, I want to hear from them.
Me too. I want to know if I'm the only one who hid from a train station employee. Please tell me I'm not alone.
Exactly, Emma. I am sure you are not alone. In fact, I want to ask our listeners right now. We want to know what kind of English speaker you are.
Yes, please tell us. I need to know who is in my team.
So let's play a little game. We have 3 options, A, B, or C. Tell us in the comments which one describes you best.
Okay, what is option A?
Option A is the risk taker. You don't care about mistakes. You just talk, talk, talk. Maybe your grammar is messy, but you are loud and happy.
Wow, I admire those people. They are fearless. Okay, what is option B?
Option B is the overthinker. This is the person who plans the sentence in their head for 5 minutes before saying it. You want it to be perfect, so you speak very slowly and carefully.
Hello, that is me. I am the captain of Team B. I have a PhD in overthinking. And option C?
Option C is the silent observer. You understand everything, you listen to podcasts, you watch movies, but you almost never speak. You're waiting for that magical day when you wake up fluent.
Oh, that used to be me too. The silent observer is very common. I think many of us move from C to B, and we are trying to get to A.
That is a great way to put it. The goal is to be a little bit more like option A. So, listeners, pause the video for a second and type A, B, or C in the comments. Be honest, we read every comment.
Yes, please share. It makes us feel like a real community. And speaking of moving forward, Jack, maybe we should quickly review the 5 mistakes. My brain is full of information and I don't want to forget anything.
That is a brilliant idea. A quick recap is essential to help you internalize the lesson.
Wait, pause. Internalize. That sounds like internal. Inside?
Yes, to internalize something means to learn it so well that it becomes a part of you. You don't just memorize it, you feel it. It becomes natural.
Okay, I want to internalize these tips, so let me try to summarize them. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Go ahead, Emma. The floor is yours.
Okay, mistake number 1 was the translation trap. This is when I try to turn my native language directly into English, word for word, like using pizza ingredients to make a cake.
Correct. And the solution is to learn chunks or whole phrases, not just individual words.
Right. Mistake number 2 was the battle between make and do. This one is still tricky for me, but the rule is make is for creating something new, like a cake or a mistake, and do is for actions or tasks, like homework or dishes.
Perfect. You remembered it well. Make equals create. Do equals action.
Mistake number 3 was mixing up he and she. This happens when we are stressed or flustered. The solution is simple. Just slow down. Take a breath.
Yes, speed is the enemy of accuracy in the beginning. Take your time.
Mistake number 4 was swallowing the ends of words, not eating them, but forgetting to say S or T or D at the end. This is bad because it changes the grammar, like the past tense.
Exactly. You need to train your mouth muscles to finish the word completely. Walk, t, cats.
And finally, mistake number 5, the big one, waiting to be ready. Thinking that English is a performance on a stage when really it is just a tool, like a hammer.
You have been listening very closely, Emma. That is a perfect summary.
I am trying, Jack. I really want to get better, but sometimes even when I know the rules, I still feel discouraged. I have days where I feel like I'm not moving forward. I feel like I'm stuck in the mud.
I hear you, Emma, and I want to say something important to you and to everyone listening who feels stuck.
Please do. I need a pep talk.
Learning a language is not a straight line. It's not like climbing a ladder where you go up one step every day. It's more like hiking in a forest. Sometimes the path is flat and easy. Sometimes it's steep and hard. And sometimes you have to go down into a valley before you can go up the next mountain.
That is a beautiful image. So if I'm having a bad day, I'm just in a valley.
Exactly. You are still on the path. You haven't failed. You're just in a difficult part of the journey. The only way to fail is to stop walking. If you keep showing up, If you keep listening, if you keep trying to make those terrible sentences we talked about, you will improve. It is inevitable.
There's that word again, inevitable.
It is. Progress is inevitable if you don't quit. Be patient with yourself. You are building a new brain. That takes time. Treat yourself like a friend. If your friend made a grammar mistake, would you yell at them?
No, of course not. I would tell them, good job for trying.
Exactly. So be that friend to yourself. Celebrate the small wins. Did you order coffee in English? That's a win. Did you understand this podcast? That is a huge win.
You are right. I understood everything today. That's a victory. Thank you, Jack. I feel much better. I feel ready to get back on the hiking trail.
I'm glad to hear that. And remember, we are hiking with you. You are never alone on this journey.
We are a big team of hikers. Okay, so we've covered the mistakes. We've motivated our minds. What's left?
Well, we promised our listeners something special at the very beginning. Do you remember?
Oh, right. The vocabulary breakdown. I almost forgot. We used some very fancy words today.
We did, and we want to make sure everyone understands them 100%. We don't want you to just guess the meaning. We want you to own these words.
I love this part. It makes me feel smart when I can use a new difficult word in a sentence.
It is the best way to expand your level from B1 to B2. So, are you ready to open the dictionary and dive deep into the definitions?
I am ready. Let's break it down.
Welcome to the Vocabulary Breakdown. This is the part of the show where we slow down and look closely at the language we use today. We want to make sure you leave this video feeling smarter than when you started.
I love this part. I am putting on my imaginary reading glasses right now. I feel very academic. Okay, Jack, what is the first word on our list today?
The first word is one we used a few times. It is inevitable. I-N-E-V-I-T-A-B-L-E. It is a long word, but it is very useful.
And just to remind everyone, inevitable means that something is 100% going to happen, right? You cannot stop it.
Exactly. It is unavoidable. Here's an example. Getting older is inevitable. No matter what face cream you buy, you will get older.
That is a depressing example, Jack, but it is true. Or we could say, if you don't charge your phone, it is inevitable that it will turn off.
Perfect. It is a cause and effect that you cannot change. Use this word when you want to sound very sure of the future. Now, the second word describes a feeling we talked about a lot. Flustered.
Oh, my favorite feeling. Flustered. This is when you feel nervous, confused, and hot because you are under pressure.
Yes, it usually happens when you're in a rush or when something unexpected happens. Imagine you're at the grocery store and you're trying to pay, but you cannot find your wallet. There's a long line of people behind you waiting. How do you feel?
I feel flustered. My hands shake, my face gets red, and I drop things.
That is the perfect definition. You can say, I got flustered when the teacher asked me a question. It's a great word because nervous is a bit too simple. Flustered paints a specific picture of chaotic nervousness.
Okay, I will try to use that. The next word is similar but much stronger. Overwhelmed.
Yes, overwhelmed. This is when a feeling or a situation is too big for you to handle. Think of a giant wave in the ocean crashing over a small boat. The boat is overwhelmed.
We use this for emotions too, right? Like, I was overwhelmed with happiness.
Yes, absolutely. You can be overwhelmed by good things or bad things. If you have too much work, you are overwhelmed with stress. If you see a baby puppy that is too cute, you might be overwhelmed with joy.
I am always overwhelmed when I see puppies. I just want to cry because they're so cute.
That is a very human reaction. So if you feel like you are drowning in tasks or feelings, use overwhelmed. Now, let's look at a verb we used, internalize.
This one sounds serious, to internalize. It sounds like internal, meaning inside.
You are spot on. To internalize something means to learn it so deeply that it becomes a part of your nature. It's not just memorizing facts, it's understanding something on a deep level.
So when I first learned to drive a car, I had to think about everything. Push the pedal, look in the mirror, but now I just drive. I don't think.
Exactly. You have internalized the skill of driving. We want you to internalize English grammar so you don't have to think about the rules anymore. It just comes out naturally.
That's the dream. Okay, what's next?
Next is the word vulnerable. This is a beautiful word. Being vulnerable means you are open to being hurt, or you are showing your true soft feelings to people.
This is what I was doing when I told the story about the train station, right? I was admitting I was scared.
Yes, you were being vulnerable. Many people think being vulnerable is weak, but actually it requires a lot of strength. It's brave to say, I am scared, or I made a mistake.
I like that. So sharing your secrets or your fears is being vulnerable. It helps us connect with other people.
Precisely. If you are always tough and perfect, people cannot connect with you. Vulnerability builds friendship.
I have one more phrase I want to check. You said, I'm guilty of this.
Ah, yes, to be guilty of something. In a court of law, being guilty means you committed a crime, you stole the money. But in casual conversation, we use it to admit a small bad habit.
Like, I'm guilty of staying up too late watching videos.
Exactly. You're admitting it playfully. I'm guilty of eating the last piece of cake. It's a nice way to admit a fault without being too serious.
I am guilty of many things, mostly involving snacks and laziness.
Aren't we all, Emma? Aren't we all? Well, those are our key vocabulary words for today. Inevitable, flustered, overwhelmed, internalize, vulnerable, and guilty.
I feel smarter already. My brain feels bigger.
That's the goal. We really hope you enjoyed this episode. We know that learning English can be scary. We know you worry about making mistakes, but remember what we said today. The mistakes are part of the journey.
Yes, please don't hide like I did at the train station. Go out there, make a mess, make mistakes, and learn from them. We're cheering for you.
If you found this video helpful, please give us a like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us create more lessons for you. And tell us in the comments, are you an A, B, or C type of learner? We really want to know.
Yes, join the conversation. I'll be reading the comments with my hot chocolate.
Thank you so much for spending your time with us today. Keep practicing, keep listening, and be kind to yourself.
See you next time, guys. Bye.
Goodbye, everyone.